Robbie, Marique and the Doctor on Triple J.
And we're talking to John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin and Them Crooked Vultures. It is such an honour to talk to you today, sir.
That's very kind of you.
It's not, a lot of times people who have been in the business for as long as you, when they speak to the media, they're talking about like a re-release or a DVD or a remastered set or something. Not today.
Not today, yeah. It's refreshing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And such a good album. It of course, came out last Friday and had a very good chance to listen to the whole thing. It is an absolute rip-roarer of a record.
Oh, thank you very much.
How did obviously we've got to get through the niceties. How did Josh Homme and David Grohl get John Paul Jones to play in there on this album to join Them Crooked Vultures?
Well, they asked.
Really? Because I'm actually looking for a bass player and keyboard player and mandolin player and steel player.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm busy now. No, Dave and Josh have known each other forever. Mm. And Dave was in England. The last time I saw him was, I think it was last September, when he came over to present Led Zeppelin with, or the remaining members of Led Zeppelin with the Men of the Year Awards at the GQ Awards, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And we just got talking afterwards, and he said, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I don't know. I was going to do this thing with Jimmy and Jason, but I don't know what's happening with it. So he said, well, I want to go work with Josh a bit. Do you fancy coming and having a bash, see if we can come up with anything? And I said, well, I'll let you know. And so a couple of weeks later, I called him up, said, is it still on? Do you still want to do it? And he went, yeah, sure.
So it was either
I
Them
don't think Josh believed him when he said, oh, John wants to come over and play.
So what was it like
Josh
when you first...
Thought, oh, yeah, great, I'll call the president. It'll be fine. And, but I went over there for Dave's birthday party, which he had at Medieval Times, believe it or not.
Is that like a themed restaurant?
And dragon soup and stuff like that. Yeah. It's very, very odd, very surreal. With knights and people with strange English accents.
Did it seem a little patronising that a member of Led Zeppelin was brought to that?
It was very surreal, and Dave was sitting behind us. He kind of sat me next to Josh, and Josh was very embarrassed. He said, well, we're not all like this, But as Dave said, it was he had his 40th birthday there, 40th birthday party, and he said normally it's somewhere where you have your 14th. But as I was saying, once we got over the trauma of that, then we got on famously.
And how long did you spend writing the songs? So you kept very quiet at that time, like there was no leaks or anything.
Right. We had the initial jam in January, and then I went back for a couple of weeks. And by that time, we just plugged in and started playing for the first day. And then, like the second day, it's like, well, has anybody got any chords we want to work on? And I think Josh came up with a few. So let's work on those. And so by the time I went home at the end of that week, we'd actually worked on a tune and a half. And then basically I just went back a few weeks later and we just switched the machines on and just started writing and recording at the same time, which was kind of unusual for me. Normally you figure out all the songs first and then go into the studio.
And how many of your instruments did you make onto the album? Were there any mandolins or that amazing... Yeah. There's mandolins?
There is a mandolin on one track.
The 8-string bass, did that make it on?
The bass mandolin is on Elephants, and then the 10-string bass and 12-string bass, 4-string bass.
Well, Elephants is one of those songs that definitely starts off in, if I may say, a kind of a Zeppelin-esque fashion, with the sort of the riff and then it speeds up and the kind of weird syncopated drums behind it.
Yeah, I mean, not intentionally Zeppelin-esque, but I was possibly influential in that band as well.
I think that may be the case.
But, I mean, it's all got a blues rock
sort of feel to it, a groove.
Brain's gone, sorry. I'm in the middle of jet lag as well at the moment.
Where are you at the moment?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, but yesterday I was in London. Yeah, I mean, it's all from a sort of a blues rock pot.
With a bit of psychedelia thrown in, especially with interludes with ludes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which, being that Led Zeppelin was a band, not unknown for their drug use, and then there's a tune apparently to do with the use of ludes, or at least the word.
Mm.
I'm not saying anything about that.
And your point is?
Nothing at all, Mr. Paul Jones, sir.
Well, there's no other drugs involved in I left all that stuff a long time ago. But, yeah, I mean, we can do it without the drugs. How's that?
Do you do anything else besides music?
No.
It doesn't
I
seem...
can't do anything else besides music.
Was there ever a time when you thought, maybe after Led Zeppelin finished or something that you thought, before you got into your solo albums and stuff, that maybe you just give it away and, try painting or something?
No, I can't paint, I can't write. I've been a professional musician since I was 16. I don't do anything else. Music's my hobby. Well, I've got a mandolin sitting next to me, which I've been playing whilst I've been waiting for you to sort out your problem.
Really? Just a normal mandolin or one of the...
Yeah, it's a normal mandolin.
I don't suppose...
Which I carry around with me all the time.
Of course you do.
So every day I play some sort of instrument.
And what have you been playing on the mandolin while you waited for us to get the studio fixed?
I'm just working out some little tunes, which I might use.
Nothing that you could just play down the line for us, for your loyal Australian listeners?
No, not really. But it's there.
Could you play the start of the Battle of Evermore right now, please?
I didn't play it on a mandolin, the Battle of Evermore.
Oh, what was...
I did Going to California, and That's the Way.
Oh,
Paige played Battle of Evermore on my mandolin.
Oh, really?
On my mandolin, yeah. I play guitar on that one, funny enough.
We're talking to John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin, obviously, which is still freaking me out a little bit, I've got to say. And you are coming to Australia next year with Them Crooked Vultures. When was the last time you were in Australia?
Oh, 1970 or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
It hasn't really changed that much, so you'll probably...
Has it not?
No, not really.
All the English cars are gone, though, haven't they? It's all Japanese cars now.
I suppose there are some cars from other places as well. There's some Australian cars. I don't really...
Right.
Yeah.
What was it? Holden or... What was it? What was it?
Yeah, Holden, yep.
Holden, yeah.
They're Australian made. And there's European cars, Renaults, Citroens, BMWs.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's going to be...
Sounding so exciting.
Absolutely.
I was in New Zealand a few years ago when I was producing the Datsuns.
Of course you did, the Datsuns.
Yeah.
Wow. How much do you immerse yourself in new music?
I keep my eyes and ears open, but to be honest, I haven't heard that much that I've really liked.
So how did the Datsuns get to you?
How did they get to me? I think it was somebody, I don't know. I think it might have been the A&R guy might have put it together. Although, funny enough, when I did the pre-production in Auckland, and that's where I first met the White Stripes, because they were doing a show there, and we all went to see them, and they were great. Now that was exciting. The White Stripes were brilliant.
Actually, I recently saw Jimmy with Jack White in the It Might Get Loud movie.
Yeah, that's the only thing I did with them, is I introduced Jack White to Jimmy Page.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And they got that movie out of it. We're talking to John Paul Jones, who is going to be in Australia next year with Them Crooked Vultures. You say that your whole life is music. I imagine Them Crooked Vultures are keeping you very busy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on the horizon or anything else that you're, sort of busting out to do?
Well, no, it doesn't work like that for me. My whole career has been basically an opportunity comes along, or something I like the sound of, or somebody asks me to do something, and I go, shall I do it or shan't I? And then I just go in that way. So I've always thought I ought to have a plan, but I never have had a plan. I'm always prepared, and I'll kind of take a chance. I mean, after the O2, the Zeppelin thing at the O2 a couple of years ago, basically Robert didn't really want to do any more like that, and so Jimmy and I thought, well, we worked with Jason quite a lot, so let's not do anything more with Zeppelin, but let's form another band. And so I spent probably a lot of last year rehearsing with Jimmy and Jason.
And what happened to that?
With new material.
And what was it sounding like?
It was sounding great. It was sounding really good, but we couldn't really agree on a singer in the end, and so it just was we put on like indefinite hold.
It would be hard, I guess, to find someone, especially with the background of Led Zeppelin. Were there any options? Were there any offers from anyone?
Well, no, the thing was, it wasn't going to be Led Zeppelin. I mean, we would have had to have played some Led Zeppelin songs because of
So you'd have to get someone that
who was in it, but
kind of
we
sing.
wanted to form a different band entirely.
Yeah.
And so when that didn't come to anything. It was just about that time when Dave said, do you want to come over to Los Angeles? And I went. So I've been playing for a lot, and I was really sort of ready to do something.
And it was very timely.
It came along at the right time.
It's like let's
do it.
Everything just keeps falling into perfect place for you.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope when you come to Australia...
Some places more perfect than others.
Well, next year, when you come to Australia with Them Crooked Vultures, with Dave Grohl and Josh Homme, the 19th of January at Challenge Stadium, Perth, 22nd in Melbourne, the 25th in Brisbane, the 26th in Sydney. They're all sold out. So thank you so much for persevering, John Paul Jones, and
Very
chatting
well.
to us. And we'll see you next year. Just before we do let you get back to your jet lag in Los Angeles, can you just give us a little strum of that mandolin just to tide us over till January?
A little strum of the mandolin.
A strum, or it's more of a pick than a strum, isn't it?
I don't know. I was just tuning it, actually.
John
That's
Paul
a strum.
Jones. That was a strum. That was more than a strum. That was John Paul Jones on Triple J. Thanks so much, sir.
Okay.
It was wonderful. I can't wait to see you guys next year.
Can't wait to get there.
Robbie, Marique and the Doctor on Triple J.